And yet he said, if I believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God.
Hello, Internet. How are you guys doing this evening? I'm your host, David Lilly, coming in hot on a Sunday evening at 8:30 p.m. As usual. I am flying solo this evening. Alex is off saving the world, and he's got some stuff going on this week, so it's just gonna be me, and it's gonna be a very clip-heavy episode because flying solo. What else am I gonna do? Is talk to myself. At least I'll bring some other clips in so you don't have to stare at my face the entire time. So yeah, we got a bunch of clips and all of that jazz. So do what you're going to do. Go and like and subscribe to whatever you're watching this on. We are streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X.com, and Kick. Sometimes we get some Kick people over there just popping on the channel and say hello. The chat is open, so feel free to hop in there and just call me all the names, and I'll probably read them out. I actually did think about throwing the chat up on the stream. I might do that here in a minute. We'll see if it starts popping off. But guys, before we get started, I already told you to like and subscribe. You better have done that. Click that button. You can also go to flintlockandfog.com. Over there is a little project of mine. It is a Victorian era tabletop RPG. It's the perfect blend of history and fiction and literature smashed into one. You like playing Dungeons and Dragons? I bet you do. You like killing orcs in the Fangorn Forest and hunting dragons down in dungeons? I bet you do. But you know what's even funner than doing that? It's hunting Jack the Ripper with Sherlock Holmes and your boy Van Helsing with shotguns and Molotov cocktails. Now that sounds like a good time. If that sounds like a good time to you, you can always support the podcast by going over to Flintlock and Fog. Sign up for the newsletter, and I got some more stuff coming out. We're moving into the Kickstarter territory. That thing's going to be launching fairly shortly for the official player's manual and a one-shot that I've been doing a ton of work on. So that's coming out. I think we're going to launch that in March is what it's looking like. Got all kinds of cool stuff. Got dice being made in the works for minis. All the nerdy stuff. You guys don't know this, but I'm not really that into politics. I know it's weird, right? You don't see like Jeb Bush posters behind me. You got all kinds of nerdy stuff. It's because I'm more of a nerd than I actually hate politics. Politics is boring and stupid. But it seems to be what everybody's interested in. We're going to talk about that tonight. I might, veer off in a rabbit trail and talk about the Doomsday trailers I've been dropping, but probably not. But if you're a nerd like me, go to flintlockandfog.com. Wow, that was a really strange ad read. Go there and check it out. Go and sign up, and I'll be doing all kinds of stuff over there. And building merch and all that stuff, which we have for Pardonable Live. We got merch coming in hot for that. I was gonna show you a cool graphic for merch, but I think I'm gonna hold off because I've been tinkering around with merch and whatnot. Let's go and get right into it because I do have a ton of clips and we're already like 4 minutes in of just me rambling. It's been a while since I just monologued for an hour. So this might be I'm a little rusty on this. Tonight's topic is New World Disorder. This is going to be an interesting one because I have a ton of clips. We're going to talk about some of the new things. I'm holding off on some of, actually, I'm pretty much holding off on all the global politics till Alex is back because Alex is smarter than I am and knows what's going on in the world. Little old me can't point to anything else on a map outside the U.S. I mean, I can. It's a bit, but I have a hard time caring because there's just so much going on here. It's hard for me to want to grasp what's going on, and we're gonna have a clip for that. We'll get into that. I'll talk about that a little bit, but really tonight I wanted to talk about this is going to be weird, mental health. We're gonna chit chat about what's going on in our society, in the Western culture. We're gonna chit chat a little bit about mental health. I am gonna have fun with it, lots of jokes, but I'm gonna try to weave in some empathy, and you're gonna see that tonight. Um, it's hard because at the beginning, Pardon With Lives is all about optimism. I try to make sure everybody's having a good time and ready for the week ahead. And there's always bad stuff happening in the news, surrounded by culture and politics. And I don't want to veer away from that, but I always like to bring in some comedy with it. And I'll tell you why, because we got some steps to help with your mental health. And I think I got a few things I'm going to talk about tonight that's going to help you, me, and if everybody out there was listening to Pardon With Live, they might have a chance to help with their mental health. One of the things before we get into it, I decided we're going to do a segment where we start every episode off with a clip of an awful, which is a affluent white liberal woman. Well, yeah, I think that spells awful. A female liberal, affluent white female liberal. And so I thought that'd be fun. We'll go and start with a clip of one of them just to get the fun started off. So here is a affluent white liberal woman coming in hot. Let's see what she's got to say.
I want to talk directly to the people of Iran who are standing up, who are demonstrating incredible bravery, standing.
Oops. No, I'm joking. I thought that was a funny joke. He could be a woman. You never know these days. He sure does act like it sometimes. That's our boy, Teddy Cruz. He's all excited about war with Iran. He can't wait to send your youngsters off there to fight over stuff we don't know. Who cares? No one knows what's going on. But it's important. And it's important to Ted Cruz. Do you want to know how important it is that he's walking and talking at the same time? Because he's got somewhere
Against the Ayatollah and the mullahs, standing for freedom. Thank you for your courage. You need to know.
He is walking briskly. And he's got one hand in the pocket. What's in that pocket, Teddy? Teddy, what's in the pocket? What's in the box? Down to business. Old Teddy Cruz is down to business. Let's switch it. Why is this like this? Turn this around. He can't be bigger than me. How dare Ted? Bigger than me. He's down to business, people, and he wants you to know that this is a message to all the Iranians who are protesting. Definitely, we have nothing to do with them protesting and rising up in Iran. Again, I'm not going to get into global politics because I have a hard time caring. But Teddy Cruz, make sure he wants you to care. He wants you to care a crap ton. So let's go and find out.
America stands with you. America stands with your fight. And President Trump has your backs.
I love how many clips there were in just that. It was like President clip stands with clip you, and Trump has your clip back. Anyway, that's enough of that white affluent liberal woman. That was this is what I'm talking about. It's about humor, and we're gonna get into that. I actually do have one that I wanted to play just to check in on people out there. Let's see what's going on. Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm so used to not fumbling with clips because I'm way more prepared. We actually do have an awful, and I feel bad because this is the topic I'm going to talk about. Here we go. Ready?
ICE is in Metro Atlanta. I know my hair is greasy. I just woke up less than an hour ago, and I've been crying since I woke up because
Hey, coincidentally, me too. Just woke up like an hour ago, and I've been crying ever since I woke up. Different reasons. My hair's greasy as well. I'm joking. I haven't been crying. I did take a nap earlier today, but it was an hour ago. Anyway, let's continue. What is she crying about?
ICE is in Metro Atlanta, and I'm just so worried about so many different people right now.
All right, let's go and pause it real quick. ICE is in Metro Atlanta, according to her. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to Metro Atlanta. There's parts of Atlanta that are super nice. And then there's some not so nice parts of Atlanta. Used to live in Georgia when I was younger. Can't really claim to know a ton about Atlanta, but I do have a bunch of friends in Atlanta, and they tell me about it all the time. She's really worried about people in Atlanta because ICE is there. Nothing to do with gang violence. That she's never worried about. She's fine with Atlanta being the way it is. She just doesn't like ICE being in Atlanta because that's violence she doesn't like.
This shit is really scary.
It's not scary. It's not scary, but you know what this is? This is a great grift. So I fumbled through a ton of clips like this of just white chicks losing it on TikTok, just losing it. They were like having such a mental breakdown that they had to hurry up and film themselves, because what else do you do when you're crying your eyes out, when you wake up, and your hair is greasy, and what else do you do? You film yourself and put it on TikTok, because the only thing that's going to make you happy is getting those likes. Click, 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 click. Let's get those likes. Let's get those shares. Speaking of which, that's the only thing that makes me happy. Go and like and subscribe to Pardonable Live. Get those likes up, or I'm going to be sad. I might be making TikTok videos like this. Don't do that to me. Don't do that. You better start liking and subscribing now, or you're going to see me doing TikTok dances and crying. Step 1 for good mental health. Try to find humor in everything. That's step 1. That's why I figured we start off. I actually feel bad. She's young. She's got a whole world ahead of her. And if she's doing this for clicks, let's be honest, that's probably what it is for. But I don't doubt that she's actually worried. I don't think she's worried about being picked up by ICE. I do think she cares about people. But again, it's selective caring. Only because ICE is in Metro Atlanta. But what I do worry about is I don't think she would be able to find humor in anything. It's a skill. Let's be honest. Finding humor in things, that's one of the fun things about Pardonable Live on Sunday nights is we normally take terrible things that are happening in the world and try to crack jokes about them. Because it's good for mental health. And people are like, dark humor, that can't be good. No, it really is. Let me explain. It's not like we're oblivious to bad things happening in the world. Whether you're on the side of the people like, wow, authoritarian and ICE, yes, yay for ICE, or people being like, oh no, ICE is bad. Wherever you are on whatever spectrum, you can at least acknowledge like this is bad. And how it's bad, because it's the hardest and also the most rewarding thing to make fun of. Making fun of something that's meant to be made fun of, like, well, that's a hard one, because I would say politicians don't mean to be funny, but they are, just because they're clowns. Same with media pundits. We're going to get into that too tonight. But finding humor at the darkest moments, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of effort, but it reaps the most rewards. And one of those rewards is to not be able to take everything so seriously. And that's really going to lean into later on the overarching what I think is best for mental health. And I think this girl and all the other clips that I was like, I can't, this is too many. This is too many meltdowns. If you could find humor in some things that are a little bit, I almost said distasteful, but that's not it. Daunting and terrible. Be able to find a joke in something like that. You start to learn how to look for the bright side of things, and you start to try to not surround yourself with the abyss. Once you start staring into the abyss and not laughing at it, it starts to stare back into your soul. And then you end up making TikToks for clicks while you cry. So that would be step number 1 for mental health. Again, I was going to try to crack jokes, but also play a little empathy card, because genuinely deep down inside, I worry for people. Like, mental health is as much as I like to say it's not. I mean, it is a thing, but it's funnier to say mental health isn't a thing. It's just grifting. Because, guys, 75% of the people crashing out on TikTok, they're just doing it for clicks and to sell merch. I'd crash out on this YouTube and this Pardonable Live if I thought it got me clicks, but it wouldn't. No one wants to see a grown man cry. No one wants to see a grown man cry. I definitely don't. You're never going to get clicks, but I'm sure all these other ones do. And I don't really buy a lot of it. Speaking about buying a lot of it, here's our step number 2. Let's move right on in this clip. Guys, chat's open. You feel free to hop in there and tell me how you're mentally ill, and we'll all be mentally ill together. And when I say mentally ill, I mean suffering from a mental illness, not retardation. If you're just, if you're like me and you're just retarded, don't jump in the chat. Don't jump in the chat. I mean, yeah, jump in the chat. I mean, that's what an R-worded person would do. So yeah, let's all get in the chat. Sorry, that's funny. The big news, and this dips into global politics. I'm already having fun. I was trying to make sure this is going to be a chill. We're just having fun tonight. This is a chill stream of us just hanging out. I got another clip. You guys are going to have to bear with me as I fumble through these. Our boy, our Canadian president, our boy old Carney. Mark Carney? Mitch Carney? Michael Carney? I don't actually know his first name. I was going to... Markey? I want to say Marky, because I always like to tag a Y at the end, kind of like a nickname style. So instead of David, you can call me Davey, just because it's fun. These people are children. It's fun to pick on them and bully politicians every once in a while. Oh, Mikey Carney. It's probably Mark. I have no idea. That's how important he is to me. Carney. His last name's Carney. I mean, the jokes write themselves. I don't know. I don't have to do anything. Anyway, he's out. Trump's doing a bunch of stuff, pulling out of the UN. All good things, technically. All great things. He shouldn't have to pull out. You shouldn't. Here's the thing. Trump shouldn't have to pull out of the UN. The UN just should pull out of itself. Oh man, there's a lot of distasteful jokes in that one. But Trump shouldn't have to. But anyway, he's mad, so he's got a message for China. They're bounding together because America's bad and stuff. And so him and China are getting together. And here's a little clip of what was happening this week. He's got something to say, and I think it has a lot to do with the mental health stage we're in now. Let's take a look.
Mine is the first visit of a Canadian Prime Minister to China in nearly a decade. The world has changed much since that last visit.
All right, number one, this is why I love making fun of politicians. The pausing, like the pausing in between phrases. Look how serious everyone is. They really think there's something. Like, that's my favorite part about politicians. They really think highly of themselves. They got that pride thing going on. Like, this is very important. What we're saying is us being here is very important. Look at our suits and ties. We are going to save or ruin the world, or whatever they mean. That part just it's done. It's just done. And as much as all my favorite politicos out there who are all, DeSantis voters and, people who really take politics seriously, people who are really mad Trump's in office again, those people that take politics super seriously, they eat this stuff up. Like, this is what it used to be, but we're done. And I hate to say, like, yeah, that was a great idea back in the day, but it's over now. I would hate for anybody to take anybody seriously. That is anybody in this room or any other room, Trump especially. I wouldn't take that seriously. I try not to take anybody seriously. Back to the humor thing, but these people really think they're important, and they're not any more important than you are. I mean, the truth is they're just not. They're just not. And you can go the puppet route, which we'll see here in a minute, but they're not really that important. And I just think it's fun to pick on them about that. And that's it. Let's go and finish this clip.
And I believe the progress that we have made in the partnership sets us up well for the new world order.
Bing, bing, bing. That's our clip of the night, guys. The New World Order. It's not going away. It's just not going to go away. It's not going to go away. And so this whole thing, I mean, I would say the New World Order, this whole plan, this whole deep state thing. All right, let's talk real for a minute. I was on some spaces this weekend while I was doing some work, and I love conspiracy spaces because it's always filled with like your hardcore conspiracies, people who have like, check out the CIA file that's public. And then you're like, what? That's not. And then they'll show you a link and you're like, oh my God, like this is real. Like they were like, they legit think this is real and they're doing it. It's always mixed in with a bunch of normies where it's like, no, let's think about this rationally. Yeah, maybe the government did remote viewing, but then they were like, we can't talk to goats. We shouldn't talk to goats. And then they got rid of that. And then you're like, no, check out this actual file on the government CIA website were documents that it actually worked. And then they dismissed it, but it's not. It just got moved to a private corporation. And yeah, they're remote viewing and they're separating consciousness from the body and all kinds of weird stuff. And, they're doing it on the ley lines and everybody seems to be obsessed with 33rd. It's all that stuff. I love my conspiracy bros because they're all really into it, but they're not into it because they like conspiracies. They're into it because they fell down a rabbit hole. And if you happen to stumble and fall down that rabbit hole, you'd be the same person. So again, this New World Order thing is not a psyop. It's just out in the open. And I think it's leading to a lot about what we're dealing with tonight and over the weekend with the Minneapolis riots and the fighting and the bickering and the down spiral that we're on now. I mean, you could say it's a new world order op, but it's not really an op. It's just global control. If you were in charge of, if you were these guys who took themselves very seriously with the ties and their meetings and their whatever, you'd be doing the same thing too. You'd be like, yeah, what do I do next? Well, take over the world. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to take over what do you mean? You have a moral compass? You have a moral founding? You have something transcendent you stand on? Yeah, well, that's step number 2 is find something to stand on. Find a moral compass, something of reality that's transcendent. So the psyop thing, it only drives people nuts. It only messes with your mental illness if you have no reality that's transcendent. And all right, so what do I mean by transcendent? Before I get into rambling about nothing, what do I mean transcendence? I mean something that's founded outside of control and manipulation within this world. So like time would be transcendent. Now I believe time is part of creation, and time exists in its own entity, and you can whatever dots and wormholes and Infinity War stuff. You can do all that stuff. But it's transcendent. Something people can't really manipulate. They can't manipulate your time. I mean, they can psychologically. Again, I'm ranting again. But it's something transcendent. It's something outside of someone's ability to really tinker with and mess with, for the most part. And so when I say something like belief in God will help your mental health, just the idea that you believe in something that is outside of manipulation, outside of control, will automatically start to get you just to feel a little bit more grounded in reality. You can start to think a little bit more rational. I know that sounds wild, especially my atheist friends. They're like, what do you mean? The fairy tale God thing makes you think rationally? Yeah, it actually does. Because you start to look at things as how they should be and how they ought to be. And it helps you understand exactly the benefit of where you're going. Take the word sin, for example. Sin just means to miss the mark. It's an archery term. What's used in the Bible is, when you do something sinful. Basically, what you're doing something sinful, you're missing the mark. You're actually doing something that is not in line with the purpose that you were being created to be. Again, you need the God thing for the creation. You need the God thing for purpose, or it's just chemicals and carbon. So there's really no purpose. So you need the God reality transcendent to actually believe in purpose. And when you have a belief in purpose and you know what the mark is and what missing the mark is, or at least you know what the mark is, you know what to miss the mark is, you start to ground yourself in things that are natural. Like, let me think of a good example. I mean, there's tons in our day and age. It's almost hard to even pinpoint when I have so many options. But the best example is postmodernism. Like the concept that everything is relative, which means there's no truth. There's no absolute. We hear people say there's no absolute truth. It's just everything's relative. It's your truth. It's my truth. It's whoever's truth. It's whatever you experience. It's your life experience that determines your truth. But that's not transcendent at all. And that's totally missing the mark, because you were not created to believe your truth. You were created to be part of something bigger, a transcendent truth, a cohesive truth that we could all relate to. Like when you say like the sky is blue and you look up and yeah, it's blue. Okay, we all agree to these things because our purpose is to be a community and unified in at least some base of reality. So then take that. So take postmodernism, throw it in the wrench and be like, there's no absolute truth. And this is how you get mental illness. It might actually be a major component to why people are losing their minds on TikTok. It's because they don't know what truth is, because they have no standard, because truth doesn't exist to them. It's just whatever they experience. So if they're experiencing something, whether it's true or false, like if they're experiencing a news cycle and they don't know what the truth, all they know what is true is what they are seeing. They don't believe in anything outside of what they're experiencing at that moment. So it's absolutely true to them. Why wouldn't it drive you insane? Sorry, that was a long friggin' rant to explain a very in-depth topic. But really, I would bump that to number one, to staying mentally healthy, to be able to be grounded, to be able to deal with weathering storms, is that truth thing. And there's another topic I want to go into in a minute, but actually, let's just do it now. So there's a scripture in Ephesians 4. I think it's I wrote it 4:14. I'm going to read this to you. This is a major part. I might just hang out on this. We might not get to any other clips. This is Bible study with David. Pardon Alive, always having a good time. There's this scripture, and it's talking about the unity in the church and not to fall prey to different things. In Ephesians 14, it says that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men and by cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. That's kind of my point with this whole thing. Psyops will get you if you're moved by them. Like if you're moved to and fro by every emotion. Like take COVID. That's the easiest one, right? They came out and they're like, "Hey, you're going to kill grandma. This thing's going to kill everybody. Look at 8,000 dead in China. We're locking everything down. You got to kill." And everybody freaked out. That emotions kicked up. Everybody's survival instincts went in. They went and bought all the toilet paper. They were moved by emotions. And then like 2 weeks later, it was a new thing. It was Black Lives Matter. And then they had to shift, and all of their emotions and senses moved to that. They were being pushed to and fro because they had no standpoint in reality. They had no concept of what it means to live or what it means to live for something. So every new thing, and that's again why a lot of times, I mean, right does it too, but let's just go and be honest here. The left is so passionate about every single topic that comes out. It's Palestine, it's climate change, it's COVID, it's masking, it's J6, now it's Minneapolis, and it's just constant. It's like the meme is you remove a chip and the media puts a new chip in, and the NPCs go about shouting about their new thing. But that's what it means to move to and fro. You're tossed by the wind. You're on a ship. You have nothing anchoring yourself, and that will cause you to just lose your mind. Again, it goes back to the postmodernist thing. When the truth is everything you just experienced. When CBS comes out and they're like, "This is the new thing today, and it's gonna ruin the world." What do you do? What do you do against such evil thing if you have nothing to ground yourself in? I know tonight you're like, "Golly, we're going philosophical," but this is important. And I figured it's just me hanging out. Figured we rant about it tonight. So that's really number one. And number two, once you get that ground, you can start to have a little bit of fun with dystopian concepts like the New World Order. Is it terrifying? Sure, it could be, but I know who wins in the end, and I know no matter what psyop they come out with, truth will always will out. It's never going to work. It's the same thing as like, what is a woman? They really thought they had something there. They really thought that if we can just get people to be empathetic towards people who are suffering from a mental illness, and we can push that empathy, we'll get them to start repeating the line. Because then at that point, at least they'll be scared to not say the line, because they lose their job, the mob comes after them, then their neighbors don't like them, they lose clients, they lose what, and so you're bound not by truth, but by to and fro, by the moving winds of the mob and what cultural's doing. That was a great aspect. That's why the psyops don't work on people who have at least some modicum of reality built into a transcendent being, a transcendent truth, something that's absolute. Now you could have an absolute truth that's wrong, but you're not going to be moved to and fro this much. Even if you were had a Scientology, pick Scientology. It's stupid. I hate Scientology's dumb, but I guarantee they're less mentally ill. That might be a stretch. They're at least not moved to and fro. Like the Scientologists aren't protesting right now. They're not speaking up about the lesson. You know what they're doing? They're making money. They're Tom Cruise in it, and he's doing his own stunts. That's what Scientology's doing, because they're grounded in whatever. They're grounded by the electromagnetic things that you hold, whatever those are. My point is, you got to find something that holds you steady. You can't be moved to and fro. That's number one, really on it. And then once you do that, you can start finding humor. Step two, finding humor in the good things. I got another clip. This is going to take me a minute. Sorry. I'm going to pull this up. This is another one I'm going to throw in there. This is step 3 to being healthy with your mental, well, being mentally healthy. Is that a way? Yeah, that would be a phrase. The next step is always look. Oh, that's not it. Hold on. Share this tab. Here's the next step. And this one's a really important one. Always try to take ashes, like take bad things, and make something good out of them. Like it's a cliche. I mean, it's even scriptural, God turns ashes, makes beauty from ashes, and the broken clay pot and the thing. There's something to be said about taking something bad and building something and making it good. And I think that's a lot of times, like when you see people crashing out online, it's not because they're building something and it didn't work out. It's because they're not building anything. They're just tearing things down. It's the thing outside of the thing. Like let's take a right wing example. Old Danny Bongino's been having a crash out lately, just attacking people, black pillars. People were like, "Hey, man, you quit the FBI and you did nothing for the Epstein things." He built an entire podcast. Like he built something, and that's when he was the best. And then he went into something he didn't build, and he had to try to tear it down. Right? Like the FBI was corrupt, and I don't know what happened. They slid him a picture of JFK or whatever. They compromised him. I don't know. I don't know what happened to Dan Bongino. But instead of coming out of that whole thing and being like, you know what, sorry guys, and just being honest, a mentally healthy thing to do, to come out and just be like, hey, I can't say a lot, but I wasn't happy with what happened, obviously, because I'm out early. That would have been the smart thing. That would have been being transparent, at least to the point where you can, would be a very smart mental health thing to do. Instead, no, he crashed out and just started attacking people. They're just calling them all kinds of names and coming after him. And you're like, what's going on? He's just tearing things down now because he couldn't do it before. So he's not building anything up. And that's my point. Is mentally healthy people, they take bad things, they take bad situations, and at least try to improve them to the best of their ability. Now, maybe it's worse than it was before you stepped into it, but at least try to make something better out of it. Like if you go to a crap job and you're like, my boss is terrible, my job's terrible, this is just going, before you just throw in your 2 weeks, try to make something better out of it. Maybe encourage somebody else to do something. I don't know. Just make beauty. So here's a great example. This is a great example of making beauty out of ashes. Take a look. We're back to the white affluent women. This woman gets pulled over and she's having an absolute episode. You may have seen this clip before. It was going wild. She just starts screaming at the cop. Now take a look at what this guy did. He turned it into something absolutely phenomenal. You ready? Check this out.
I can help you talk to someone.
I mean, come on. Come on. See, this is what I'm talking about. You take something that's just like, this is a rough moment. This is rough. And then you don't even have to make fun of her. Just take it and go, you know what, this could be better. This could be better. We could do something with this. He was like, hey, you know what? I could just make fun of her on Pardon Will Live, but instead I'm going to add some stellar music to it and make it interesting. Make it something that people would care about. Now, I bet she would appreciate this. She's like, I had to crash out. I had a moment, but this one guy on the internet took it and made into a metal riff. And I feel better about myself. And maybe she's one more step to being mentally healthy. So step number 3, to make sure your mental health is all wrapped up tight and you're doing well, is to try to take whatever situation and just try to make it better. And I'm not saying go out and riot in Minneapolis. I'm talking about your situation. Like if you're mentally unwell, like if you're struggling, you're crashing out on TikTok for clicks. Don't go, the thing that I need to do now is get out there and protest. That'll make me feel better. No, it won't. No, it won't. It might give me content for my podcast, but it's not going to make you feel better. And really, at the end of the day, I care about you feeling better. I don't want these people to crash out online. I don't want these people to lose it, even if they're getting a ton of clicks. Maybe TikTok's paying them, and they're living high on the hog. Maybe I just bought a house because I keep crashing out online. That's going to do you mental damage. It's not long lasting. It's short lived, and then you're going to be like crashing out in your mansion that you can't pay for because people got tired of seeing you crash out, and now your mental health is shot, and you're all alone in your mansion. I know some of you out there listening are like, "Oh, that sounds awesome." It kind of does. Yeah, no, it kind of does. But no, it's not. It's not good long term. That's short term thinking, guys. Short term thinking. You know what else is short term thinking? Segue is going into. Let's get to the rights, guys. The rights is short term thinking anyway. This whole thing, this whole Minneapolis riot thing is not surprising. Let's go and say that. But it is a bit short-term thinking. Because I don't know, like, you would have had to look at the 2020 Summer of Love and been like, you remember when we burned all that stuff down? That helped our movement. Yeah. No, Black Lives Matter is doing really good because of that one. That was a good idea. Short-term thinking. And now if you're like, hey, you know what's going to really pull people on our side? Just, beating random people up. Just assaulting people who are like, hey, I'm not against this this whole ICE thing. But also there's a bit of there's a double-edged sword to this. So let's go and show this clip. So there's the J6er stirring the pot out in Minneapolis. And I wanted to show this before I showed the next clip. To be honest, I'm really not, this is going to sound bad. I really don't care about this, just truthfully, just to be honest with you. I really don't care. Not about the riots, but about this one. Our old buddy Jake Lang. He's a J6er. I have no qualms with Jake. He's a bit of a pot stirrer. And he posted this today at 1 p.m. This was yesterday. 1 p.m. I'll be burning a Quran on the steps of Minneapolis City Hall. America is a Christian country. We will not allow Somali daycare pirates to overtake Minneapolis. All right, so number one, this is baiting. American is a Christian. Somali daycare pirates. What does that have to do with it being a Christian country? Does that have something to do with Christian country? And then he puts the cross in the end. This is grifting. This is just as bad as crying your eyes out because ISIS in Metro Atlanta. I'm sorry. It is. It's a giant freaking grift. And somebody's got to get their paycheck off of X. And so old boy Jake Lang came out there to make a statement. His First Amendment right. So he can, get them clicks. Here we go.
Minneapolis City Hall will be burning Qurans, standing up against the Somali invasion of Minneapolis, the immediate deportation of Ilhan Omar, and the arrest of the scammer Tim Walz. Come join us 1 p.m. here, Minneapolis.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go and spoiler alert. He gets stomped. Your boy gets stomped. Oh, this isn't in the right clip. This is a different one. Hold on, let me get to the right clip. That's not it. That's not the right clip. Oh, dang, I don't even know if I have the right clip. Hold on. Let me see. Well, I don't have the right clip. It's not really important. Jake Lang goes there to burn a Quran because it's a Christian country and Somalis and Tim Walz, and let's just blend all religion and politics together, which I get it. Like that's the new fad these days. Is if you're a Christian, your politics and Christianity is all, and there is some truth to that. Your politics should be affected by your religion, especially if it's Christianity. Your politics should adjust accordingly. Hopefully it does. If you didn't, that would be another one of those, like, there's a scripture for that, for a double-sided mind, that will drive you insane. Or you're going to have to give one up. Man can't serve two masters. So you either all in on the politics and that justifies what everything else, like you serve politics and that changes how your religion goes. Christian evangelicals might be talking to you on that one. Or you're religious and that changes how your politics will flow. But you gotta pick one or the other. They can't be equally yoked, is what I'm trying to say. I don't want to hang out on this topic, but I'm going to give you a little tidbit. Let's just jump into the Christian nationalism thing real quick, because I'm pretty much hinting a lot at that. I'm going to give you one small perspective. America, Christian nation. You could say that for sure. America is absolutely a Christian nation. And you could say it was intended to be so, for sure. But America being great and becoming what it was not because it was quote unquote labeled a Christian nation. It's because Christians built it and it was a byproduct of their faith. So my point is, when you aim for a Christian nation, you're aiming for the means, when you should be just aiming to be a Christian and aim to build up your church, and the byproduct will be a good country. So trying to change the country and doing that, sure, it's all great, but you're serving that. Like, that's what you're doing. Just be honest about it. Just be like, hey, just be honest about it. You don't even have to be Christian at this point in time to be a Christian nationalist. Just be like, I liked it when it was, it looked like the 1950s. I want to go back there. And that seems to be Christian values. Then don't bring the, be an atheist and do that. It's fine. But if you're actually a Christian, understand that America is awesome. And it has a lot to do with Christians because it's a byproduct of a Christian community that built it at its foundation. And it's not because of, Western enlightenment. And yeah, sure, you can bring all that stuff in, Greek philosophy and all that. But all that was packed into the Western, the Reformation in any way. And this country was built on communities of Protestants and some Catholics. They had a little tiny part. And that part's gone to crap anyway. I don't have any protesters in Maryland, but I'm sure there's protests going on there now. Anyway, that's my little segment on Christian nationalism. Just aim to build up your community and your church and build that up. Try to help people. Your country will look awesome. But when you start changing it and you put politics ahead of that, you're just going to end up with where we are now. Hey, that could be a step to good mental health. Prioritize correctly. And then don't get that mixed up. Don't be, hey, that's step number 4. Don't serve 2 masters. Don't try to. Pick one. Just pick one. And if you're like, hey, politics is my jam, okay, well then pick it. But don't pretend like you're the Christ, Christ is king and Christianity is number 1 in your book, and then just be all in on politics. And don't do that. Don't do it. You don't have to. You just don't have to. I'm here to tell you, you don't have to. You be a white Christian nationalist and label the Christian thing. I don't care. Do whatever you want. But don't go mentally ill. I mean, if you might be mentally ill, all right, but don't divide your mind trying to serve 2 masters. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Pick one. Pick one or the other. It's either Jesus or it's Trump or whatever, Buchanan, whatever it is. Just pick the thing. But you can't serve 2. That's what's driving. Hey, heads up. That's what's driving all these lefties insane. They got too many masters. They're trying to serve all of them. And really what they're trying to do is serve themselves. And that's the number 1 master. And it doesn't work out well. You want to know why? Because you are fickle and you're flawed. You ever try to worship a flawed God? Yeah, we all do. It's ourselves. This is getting off the rails. Anyway, Jake Lang tried to be a grifter, got stomped in. I feel bad for him. But what can you do? He set himself up. And that's going to lead into my next point. Let me go and share this guy real quick. Let's do this. Sorry, I'm all over the place. You guys can tell I really put a lot of time into tonight. A lot of time into this. You guys got a superb show going. All right, here's a little clip of some writing. All right, number 1, he's brown and he's wearing an American hoodie, and apparently he's like, no, I don't like these ICE people, and that's why he's being attacked. I thought it was reversed. And I was like, what? Are these anti-ICE people? I mean, these ICE people trying to attack this guy because he's brown? No, because none of it really matters, guys. None of it really matters. It's ideology. It's not real. This is just people falling for the thing because they have they don't know what to serve. They're just worshiping everything that comes across.
Take it off. Nazi butt. Take it off.
He's calling him a Nazi. He's got an American hoodie with freedom on it. Tag him Nazis in their freedom. This is so stupid. I have a hard time. Look, I'm going to get to my point with this. This is step number 5. I have a freaking hard time taking any of these people seriously. The protesters, I mean. Look, First Amendment's great. I agree. I think protesting. What's the point of protesting? If you're Don Lemon, it's to make people uncomfortable. We're going to get to that in a minute. It's something I really want to cover. But protesting is to kind of show the masses that there's an issue and that you're concerned. And the larger your protest means there's a lot of people that really are concerned. So maybe you should pay attention. Now, the inconvenience thing, that's a lefty thing. We're like, you're not paying attention to us, so we're going to make you pay attention by inconveniencing you. They haven't figured out that doesn't work. That's not what you want to do. That's not going to help your side. So I have a hard time believing that they actually believe that. Either one, they're brainwashed and they're mentally ill, and you just combine that with some SSRIs, and then you get these people out there blocking traffic and not trying to figure out why their movement's not doing well, or burning, like we saw in the Summer of Love, burning cities down and be like, why don't you support us? Look at us burning this stuff down for you. We're burning things down, because most of them were like white people. Like, why aren't these black people out here burning things down with us? It's because, they're mentally ill. I don't know what to tell you. It's sad situation. But the protest thing is almost cliche now. Now I'm just like, if you're outside protest, why don't you go build something? Like, that sounds like the contractor in me, but go make something. Like, go make something. This is going to help you. It's tying into a little bit of step number 3. Just go make something. So you were created, going back to the sin, missing the mark. You were created. Trust me, I understand the irony of me being a Protestant. Protest. We were protesting, the Catholic Church. I get it. There's some irony in there, and it's funny. It's a joke, and I've tried to make it, but I didn't think about it hard enough. But go make something. And part of you being a part of creation, you being God's creation, is that even in the Bible says that we let us make man in our image. And what that, there's a lot of meaning to that. But one of the things that means is making man to participate in the world similar to how God participates in the world. And what did God do? Even in that statement, created man. So you were made to create. And, and the Bible talks about dominion, cultivating a garden, like creating things, taking something wild and subduing it into order. And that's kind of what this whole thing is trying to get back order, but it's creating more chaos. And so that's a touchy thing. Let's get away from the politics of it. Let's talk about creation. Protesting is great because you're saying things, but when you start attacking people, I really have to sit back and go, are you just there? Is this like a smash room for you? Like, people who are like, I need to let off tension. Let me go and break microwaves with a hammer. Like, I get it. You look ridiculous with your goggles when you're in those smash rooms and screaming. You could just get a construction job and do a demo. Like, those people, I know people think construction guys are mentally ill because they drink too much and they're always just pounding Red Bulls, but that's not true. They actually let off a lot of steam by getting to do things and work with their hands. They're constantly creating. Construction guys are one of the few people that I think are mentally healthy, aside from the drug abuse and the drinking. But that normally has to do with deeper issues. But their work life, tip top, man. They don't normally just despise their job and despise their boss and despise everybody around them and constantly. No, they're happy. That's why they show up at 6 a.m. Because they're like, hey, I get to bake something with my hands today. Going back to the protest. Sorry, another rant. This is important. I think step number 6. Stop trying to tear things down and go build something. Go make something. Go make something even, and this is a step up. You want to really upgrade? Make something useful. And when I mean useful, I don't mean like make a tool or make something. Yeah, sure. That's next step up. You want to mind blown enlightenment. You want to hit Zen. Go build something that's useful for someone else, not even for yourself. Build something useful and then give it to somebody else for them to make their life better. That is pure Zen. Not only create, but create with purpose, and then be generous with it. And watch how your mental health just starts to change. You're like, David, I can't make anything. Garbage. You can make anything. Write a friggin' note to somebody. Write a note to your spouse. Be like, hey, I'm just gonna write a note and just be like, hey, I appreciate you, thank you, blah, 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 blah. And then, make it and put some time into it. Don't scribble it with a crayon like I would. Put some time into it. And then, maybe leave it in a place before you head off to work. Leave it in a nice place where, that person's going to go to that day. And just put some effort into it and just give it for free. Just, hey, I didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything. We're not fighting. I just wanted to give it. That's the smallest thing you can do. Create something. Create something. Stop wasting your time out here trying to taunt people and change a movement and be a part of something bigger. Because you're not. This isn't anything bigger. You're lost. You're a broken tool trying to hammer a nail, and you can't figure out why it's not working. It's because you're not building anything. And if you build something, you would be so much better off. So mental health tip number 6, go make something. And if you really want to up it, make something useful. and then be generous with that. Give it to somebody who could use it. Then you would be doing something that isn't this, that isn't just being a nuisance and causing disorder. Anyway, this guy, I guess we can finish this out. Wherever it went. We'll just finish this out real quick.
There you go. I got you. You're good.
Get your ass up out of here.
Drop it.
Oh, going back to making the useful thing. If you're going to get on TikTok and meltdown, do it to help somebody. Like me. Like, do it and then send me the clip so I can have fun with it on the podcast. That would be you making something useful and then giving it generously to me. And then we'll have fun with it. No, I'm saying that's a joke. That's a joke. Don't do that or do it. Don't do it. I'm not going to play it on the podcast. I might. I'm just joking. Anyway, let's we got another one. This goes back to just trying to find purpose. I don't know if there's a tip in this, but I think I can find one. Check this out.
Okay, I'm just gonna talk out loud about things that I'm seeing and thinking.
All right, just a heads up. So this, let me see if I got this right. Yeah. So I found this today, and I was like, and I just got rid of it. I just lost. Whatever. Anyway, that was gonna be me making fun of somebody. Let me see if I can find it again. Give me 2 seconds. Anyway, make something useful. Let's go over our tips real quick. Number one, find yourself in find something transcendent, something that's bigger than you, bigger than your neighbor, something that people can't control, people can't dictate or get or manipulate. Find something that's outside of people's power, this humanly realm. And my suggestion is find Jesus and find God, because that's going to ground you in your mental health. That's going to help you. This is going to be a foundation for you to judge all things. C.S. Lewis has this great quote. He says he thinks Christianity and Jesus like the sun, not because he can see the sun, but because by the sun he can see everything else. Phenomenal quote, very insightful, and I thought that was really good clue to what it means to have transcendence. Once you have that transcendent foundation, you start to see the world as it was supposed to be, ought to. And then where it is, and then you can kind of realize, okay, this is where it needs adjustments. This is sin because it's missing the mark, and this is what your purpose was, and this is how you work into that. Wow, this is the least funniest episode I think I've done in a long time, but this is a long time coming. Step number 2: try to find humor in things, even when they're bad, even when they hurt you. You try to make fun of yourself once in a while. Make fun of yourself and do it in good humor, not just like a degradation, not a self-deprecating, like I'm just going to make fun of myself because deep down inside I'm really disappointed in me. But no, don't take yourself seriously. Find humor in that and try not to take everything else seriously. Number 3, and this goes back to what was number 3? Oh, don't be tossed to and fro by every wind of everything. And that goes back to the grounding and thing. Don't let emotions ride. Don't let them take control, because you're just going to be pulled to and fro. You're going to fall for every psyop out there because they're always going to use emotion. You're going to fall for every commercial out there. Guys, you're going to fall for every TikTok where someone's melting down because you can't determine what's real and what's fake because you're just being tossed to and fro by emotions. Get your emotions under wraps. Stand on your foundation and then judge your emotions harshly. Don't start judging things by your emotions. And to be honest, I didn't write down the rest of the steps, so I forgot them already. Here's one thing I want to talk about real fast. I want to show this because this is new. And then we might just sit on this for a hot minute. Where did it go? Bro, did I freaking delete that one too? No, here it is. This guy. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight, guys. Let's do this one. So in Minneapolis, to go on with, this one's actually really sad. It's going to be hard to make fun of. I'm going to have to make fun of Don Lemon through this whole thing. Minneapolis, with all the riots going on. Today's Sunday. I don't know if you know that or if you were paying attention. It's the Lord's Day, the Sabbath. And this is a church in Minneapolis, and Don Lemon happens to be at this church, and I'm not sure if he instigated this, but it filled up with protesters, and they just started protesting in the middle of Sunday service. So take a look at this.
This is the beginning of what's going to happen here. When you violate people's due process, when you pull people off the street, you start dragging them and hurting them and not abiding by the Constitution. When you start doing all of that, people get upset and angry. And if you remember what the Civil Rights Movement was about, the Civil Rights Movement was about...
I'm going to go and stop you there. He's not wrong. I just don't think I think people are angry for the wrong reasons. I don't think they're actually angry because things are being violated. I think they're angry because they don't have anything to hold on to. I think they're angry because the world's not looking the way they thought it was going to. I think they're angry because they were lied to by every side, and they were brainwashed, and things are falling apart. I think they're angry for all those reasons. The problem I have with old Donnie Lemon is because it's civil rights, and this is what you do, and this is how you get people's attention. And he's going to go into it. And we talked about this a minute ago. And I'm sorry I'm using my serious tone, but this is kind of something. This is something serious that I am actually having a hard time making fun of this outside of just making fun of Don Lemon, which that's low hanging fruit. So I'm not going to really do that. But every once in a while, I like to talk serious. Been doing that this whole episode. This is wild because it shows you people's intent. So if you're angry about something, the government, why are you going to a church? Why a church? Why aren't you at Capitol City Hall? Public property. Why aren't you on public property? Someplace where it matters. You went to where people... Like, I know people don't respect church anymore, but it's sacred. Like, that's an actual sacred thing. And this is what happens when none of these people believe in sacredicity. They don't believe, I mean, obviously they don't. They're open borders. They don't believe things are sacred. And they'd be like, well, human rights are sacred. But you believe the human rights are given to you by the law, by social cohesion. Everybody happen to agree that you happen to have these particular rights. You don't actually believe in transcendent right. You don't believe in God-given rights. So that's out of the window. So nothing's really sacred. I mean, you can look this postmodernism thing. There's no truth. There's no. I mean, it's really Nietzsche, and he talked about this. He goes, "What happens when God?" It's this poem, Parable of the Madman, where he goes, "And God is dead, and we've killed him. What games do we create now?" He goes, "We've wiped away the horizon. We can't tell what's up or down, left or right. That's the world we live in now because we've quote unquote killed God. We've done it in a cultural society. This is what secularism leads to. This is what postmodernism leads to. People thought it would lead to science breakthroughs because we're okay with, taking aborted babies and doing stem cells. We're going to cure cancer because we have no morals behind how we get those things." That's Mandela, not Mandela. It's Magnola. It's just you can torture people for the means to an end. It's going to save more people, so why not just torture? It's Fauci. Why not kill a bunch of beagles? Why not put maggots on their faces, eat them out, because it's going to lead to what? Some new breakthrough? Morals don't rely. It's a means to an end. They don't believe in property rights. They don't believe in morals because morals are fake. It's whatever the people decide they are at that time. It's been like that all of human history. Until something happened 2,000 years ago, and then it just shifted. Everything shifted on its heels. It's almost as if the ground cracked, and then something new came in and was like, no, there's real morals, and it's not just for one group of people. It's for everybody. This is what happens when you don't have all the things I was talking about, especially the first one. This is where you are. You start to trample on sacred things that are important to other people, and let's just go and watch this because. There is no good outcome. There's no good outcome to this. There's just none.
These very kinds of protests. There's nothing in the Constitution that tells you what time you can protest. You can protest at any time. That's the whole point of it, is to disrupt, to make uncomfortable. And that's what they're doing. And that's what I believe when I say everyone has to be willing to sacrifice something. You have to make people uncomfortable.
He just said a bunch of things all at once. Number one, let's go and start. It's a church. That's private property. Now, they might be open to the public, but it's just like a museum. They should and could be escorted out. And that's not a knock on. Well, what would Jesus do? He would flip these people's tables. Why did Jesus flip the money changers' tables? Because they were they were ruining something sacred. They were doing something ill on sacred ground. Jesus took the church very, very, very sacredly. That's why he flipped money changers. He would flip all these people. He would chase these people off with a whip, because they're not there because they think the church is sacred and they're trying to state their point. And number one, you can protest at any time. I think once the sun goes down, it's not a protest anymore because no one can see you. And no one can see you burn down those T-Mobiles either. But my point is, you can't just go into people's say. It's like going into someone's home. It's Don Lemon saying, "Hey, these people have a First Amendment right to say what they think and make you uncomfortable in your house." He believes that too. He doesn't believe in property rights. He believes it's ideological is the fueling of all. As long as it gets the job done, quote unquote. Who cares about what people actually have that's sacred or what's their own? Or doesn't matter to Don. Don's a grifter too, by the way. Don used to not be so stupid, but he's clinging to threads of a career online because below him is a pit of failure, and it's actually really sad. And his mental health, I worry about him because he's skating on very thin ice, just trying to make it to shore, and he's now skating on protesters. And if something bad goes happen to these protesters, is that blood on his hands? Is he using these people to get clicks and likes? Yeah. Wouldn't be hard for me to say that this is if stuff like this escalates, you could point to Don and be like, "Oh, he cheered it on. He cheered it on." I mean, he didn't do it, but he's definitely using them. He's using these protesters to get clicks on old TikTok. Anyway, here we go.
In these times, if you see how uncomfortable people
that's my favorite part. I mean, come on. This is so hard for me not to get passionate about. Look at these people uncomfortable. He's like, this is what we're protesting to make people uncomfortable. The church building, the part where they're in right now, is actually called a sanctuary. Do you know what sanctuary means? It means a place of peace and comfort. A place of peace and comfort. They are actually going into the one place. Most of these people are going to church. The world is in turmoil. They live in Minneapolis. It can't be good. They're in a place that the only sacred place they have left, because they can't be safe in their neighborhood or in anything. And they got protests everywhere outside their Starbucks, their work. They're not safe anywhere. They come to a place of worship and a sanctuary to find peace and comfort amongst, just in four walls and amongst people who believe like them. And this old Donnie stupid ass Lemon is coming in going, "No, it's good that they're uncomfortable." Bro, that's the only place they got. What happens when you do that? That's all they got, Donnie. Donnie, this ain't gonna go good. Donnie, this is stuff on your dude. This is dangerous. And I know all the other stuff is dangerous too, for sure. For sure, it's all dangerous. But this is like biblically dangerous. It's not good, Donnie. Not good, man. And then this is my favorite. It continues on. Not that I'm not passionate enough. It just keeps going, man. Check this out. So Don Lemon interviews the pastor, and this is what he has to say.
Pastor of the church. Our church had gathered for worship, which we do every Sunday, and we were interrupted by this group of protesters.
Oh, it's all
we asked them to leave, and they obviously have not left. So.
What do you think of this?
I mean, this is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship. So.
But there were folks who will say,
I have to take care of my flock.
Okay, but listen, we live there's a Constitution and a First Amendment.
There he goes with the Constitution it's public property, dude. Get out. Get out. Just get out, dude. I can't. Don Lemon's retarded. Like, he's just retarded. But no, he knows better. That's my problem, is I want him to be retarded. I want him to be, because this is a retarded move. This is a very retarded move. But it is what it is. This would be the same, guys. This would be the same if this was a synagogue or a mosque. Like, even, let's go back to Jake Lang. Burning the Quran. Yeah, that's a dumb move. I said that was a dumb move, and that was outside of City Hall. Do it inside of a mosque. That's even dumber. That's even dumber. And this is old Donnie Lemon. But people always assume you can't do that in a synagogue or you can't do that in a mosque. But yeah, do it in a Christian church. Why not? This is how you get white nationalism. This is how you get Christian nationalism. is you start poking a bear and poking them, and they're empathetic enough where anybody can come in those doors. And if they need prayer or they need comfort, that's what we're here for. You're going to come in and protest. You're going to abuse people who are trying to help other people. You are going to stomp on the hands lending out to help people. This person's lending you a hand and you're going to snap at it. This doesn't do it. This is the only saving grace for these protesters in Don Lemon is the compassion of Christ. You couldn't do this anywhere else. It's a testimony to the love of Jesus that these people are able to do what they're doing. It's still disgraceful. It's still sacrosanct. This is an abomination. It's unacceptable. It still is unacceptable. But he's empathetic. The compassion of Christ is like, okay, well, I'm not going to throw fisticuffs. And you can tell he's wanting. Even Donnie wants it, man. Look, it continues. I mean, you're like, David, it can't get any friggin' worse than this. No, it can. Watch.
To freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest.
We're here to worship. We're here to worship Jesus because that's the hope of these cities. That's the hope of the world is Jesus Christ.
I want to be very respectful. Please don't push me, though.
We're here to worship Jesus. Yes. That's why we're here. Yeah. Okay.
Very respectful. Please don't push me, though. Push you? Push you? That was a push, Donnie? You live in New York City. That's not a push, and you know that. You've been shoved harder on the subway by an old lady. And this is what I'm saying. And this is the only thing. He's absolutely right. The only thing that's going to save Minneapolis is the saving power and grace of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is the only thing, not ICE, not Trump. It's obviously not working well. That's all I can't rant for any longer. We're already way past 1 hour. And this thing, I should have just sat on this and did 1 hour of this thing real quick. Let me give you my 2 cents real quick before we get back to normal scheduling next week, where it's not just me flying solo and ranting. I'm sure you guys appreciate this episode. One more thing about this. This is the national divorce conversation comes back up. This is my libertarian in me. But it's not. It's my resentful. I feel bad for that pastor in Minneapolis. God, I can't even say that stupid word. That's why we shouldn't even have it. Get rid of it. Give it to Canada. Give it all to Canada. These people are stupid. Give it all to Canada. Good on that guy for just trying to hold church service in a city that's in extreme turmoil. And he's basically a missionary at this point. And so it's sad to say, but he'd be a missionary. This when it comes to the riots, and this is the thing about the ICE that I'm starting to I don't know what you do for this. I understand the political ramifications of having Democrat cities and Democrat states and them just funneling in undocumented immigrants for censuses to get more Senate seats. I understand that it affects federal governments. Trump doesn't have to pull ICE out. Say, have at it, Hoss. Kill all federal funding. Just kill it. You go, if you're going to do this, no more federal funding. You might as well secede. You might as well secede and become an all nation. We should have a national divorce at this point, because here's my point. I'm not against every video I see of ICE rolling into neighborhoods and they're like, get out, get out. My libertarian, my freedom bent is like, if the community doesn't want you there and they're fine with whatever is happening, let them rock with it. Pull all federal funding. All these grants coming from federal, get rid of it. Let them corrupt and eat themselves. Let it collapse. And that's not very, I get it. You're like, David, that's not very compassionate. But white knighting and trying to bring order to something that's disabled like this, where they don't even want it. This is where I get, when you go, again, individual, this is in context of an individual and a Christian, not in a government. But when you go into someone's house and they don't accept you, then kick the dust off your feet. When you leave, bless them and kick the dust off your feet. You're not there to force it, and you're just not going to force it. And so this whole thing, even if ICE gets rid of the illegals, you're not solving this problem. The preacher's right. The only thing that's going to solve this is Jesus. And so at this point in time, I'm like, look, let them burn. Let them burn down. Just pull ICE. If you live in Minneapolis, you're like, no, I want to fight. Good, fight for your city. If you're a church Christian, be a missionary in that place. Like, I live in New York. Like, I have nowhere to speak. And New York doesn't want ICE. I can tell you that. Where I live, they do. Because I'm upstate, so I'm surrounded by red. There's a few, blue counties and whatnot, but they don't want ICE. And if Albany doesn't want ICE, then why would ICE even go there? To do what? Those people love it. They love it. Let them have it. let the dogs turn to their own vomit. That's biblical. Just it's what they're gonna do. Just don't cast your pearls among swine. If they don't want you there, then just don't go. And but don't give them federal funding if they're just gonna. I mean, the mayor of Minneapolis came out and told the cops to fight ICE. I watched that clip and I was mind blown. Even the police chief in the back was like, "Oh snap!" Not good things. Anyway, all I'm saying this is, guys, Summer of Love popped off because it was spring and it was warm out. It's friggin' cold and this is happening. I hate to see what's going to come in the spring. So gird up your loins. I'm not saying it's going to get bad. And you guys know me. I never want to leave off on a bad note. So we're not going to do that. It's not going to, I don't think it'll get better. But here's what I do think. And this is where I want you to stay positive. I don't think it's as bad as it looks. I don't think it's going to get better. But what I do think is I think we can be better. And I'm not saying you're doing a terrible job. I'm just saying we can be better than whatever these people who have mental illnesses are. They're succumbing to the New World Disorder. They're falling for every psyop. They're being pushed to and fro. They're serving two masters. We can be the shining light on the hill just by having a transcendent foundation. And whatever that is for you, again, I will argue up and down that it's Jesus Christ. But at this point in time, people just need something to hold on to, and so that's my uplifting message. You're going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. I also know who wins in the end, and I'm not saying politically that I don't know who wins in the end. But again, my kingdom is not of this world, and so I love America, and I know the feeling of wanting to fight for America and wanting to bring order to cities like Minneapolis, and I understand people's hearts in that, and I also understand the lefties who are outside protesting for they're just trying to find purpose, and they're finding it by burning something down, or at least protecting innocent people, I guess, quote unquote. They're just trying to do that because, to be honest, it's easier to protest than it is to build something. And that requires hard work. Burning down a Starbucks is not that hard. Outside with your sign, at least you're creative. You took the markers to the poster board. That is something. I'll give you that. There's a bit of creativity there, a little bit of effort, but it's a lot easier to tear something down than it is to build something up. And so I hate to say this, but there's always going to be. It's short-lived. It's short-lived. It doesn't last long, and your body's going to go, your brain's going to go when you don't follow these steps, when you don't have this. It's all short-lived. It's not, you're not going to make it. And even if you're like, well, I'm making a ton of money off TikTok with my grift, that's not going to last long either. And then at the end, what do you got? Just a drug habit and a shady past. And everyone, the internet's forever, including this episode. So maybe I'm regretting everything I say. Anyway, I'm joking. Hey, all good things. It's going to be a great week ahead. Don't let those rioters, don't let the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab getting you down, telling you eat the bugs. Don't let any of that get you. Gird up your loins. It's a tough world out there, but you got this. I believe in you. I think it's going to be fine. I think it's going to be fine for people who have all these. As joy cometh in the morning. Hey, not even morning. Joy's right now. That's Pardonable Live, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We will be back here next Sunday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time with our normal scheduling. Alex will be back. You won't have to hear me rant. Guys, it's been a long time since I had a monologue for an hour. Thanks for tuning in and keeping up with me. Got a lot of Jesus in this episode, so hopefully that encourages you throughout the week, because that was the whole point of this episode. I want you to be encouraged during the New World Disorder, guys. As always, God bless ya jabronis.